Hello! Welcome back. Alyssa here with another bullet journal plan with me video. And if you follow this channel, you may know that I have not been around quite as much recently. If you've been watching for more than a month or two, you'll know it's because I got a new job and I have been super busy. And that is why I'm going to talk about some changes as I flip through the month of May. And I'm going to start with my happiness project here in this little Tomoe River paper notebook in the front. And one thing I have been doing well is actually working on my focus for this month, which is coding or programming. And I also have been working on this project. It's not going to be finished, I can tell you that right now. But I have been putting a lot of work into it, and I even have some time saved up that I need to fill in here, so I'm further along than this shows. One thing that my new job has helped me realize is that I don't have time for all of the projects. I really need to focus on the important stuff, and I know I've talked about this before, and I've whittled things down before, and they keep kind of working their way back into my life. It's a problem that I have and that I think other people have too, where I get really excited about things and there's a disconnect between what I want to do and what is realistic to do that I need to be mindful of and try to keep myself out of that fantasy land in between. So this morning, as I was thinking about what my goals are going to be for June, I did some journaling about what I would like to accomplish by the end of this year, and it helped me realize a couple things. The first thing that I am not sure if anyone will actually be disappointed about is I'm going to close my Redbubble shop because it is not a source of income for me. I don't have the time to create new artwork for it. The kind of art that I was doing for my shop, which is kind of like illustrations and character drawing and things like that, is not a skill that I have honed very well in my life, and it's not one that I have time to keep working on. I would like to keep art as a hobby, but I need to face reality and know that it's not going to be a part of my professional space, at least not right now. So I'm going to be closing down the shop, I'm pretty sure. I need to look at it and see if it's worth actually shutting it down or just keeping it open. I don't think it's costing me anything, but I also don't really want to confuse people or kind of like dilute what I'm doing here on YouTube with it. And another thing I'm doing is, you can see here I have whited out a bunch of things that I had planned for later this year. And what I've done is focus on a single side project for programming. I had a lot of ambitious ideas and a lot of writing goals as well that I really wanted to get done this year, and they're not going to happen. I don't have the time to make them happen. I'm already behind. So what I'm going to do, and what I have done, is pick one project that I'm going to work on, and that is actually the project that I made a significant amount of progress on at the beginning of the year. I finished what I'm calling version 1 of this app. So my rule is I cannot start a new passion project or continue one of my many back burner projects until that one is done and released to the world. So I wrote here that version 1 is complete, but it is a very bare bones version. There's still quite a bit to do before I would want anyone to use it. So what I'm going to do is plan out a timeline for that and see. I would like to get it done in the next 6 months, which is what is the time frame that I've been thinking about throughout the day. My idea is that I'm gonna focus hard for the next 6 months up until the beginning of December, and then December is gonna be my relax month. It's gonna be my planning month and my daydreaming month, kind of a month for reflecting on the year and thinking about next year. But until then, I'm gonna be focused, and one way I tried to do this already is fill in this like 12-week year plan. I'm sure some of you have heard about it. It's based on a book. I do not remember who it's by, and the idea is that if you set these strict and smart goals for your 12-week block, and you focus on them and you work hard on them for 12 straight weeks, you can accomplish more than most people do in a year. And I think it was a good idea, but as you can see, I did not follow the rules exactly because I have like a reading goal, I have a writing goal, a drawing goal, a app development goal. This is too much. I'm recording this mostly for me. I need to hear that this is too much. So, what I have now is 5 goals that I've broken down into weekly or daily tasks. These first 2 are not like, they don't have like a tangible product. This is a health goal. I need to lose some weight. I've been somewhat of a glutton these past 8 weeks or so, and I've put on quite a bit of weight that I do not want to have. So losing weight is one goal, and then this is a financial goal. So not really something that I need to be working on day to day in kind of like a focused manner. So what I actually have is only 3 goals for the rest of the year, and I have written out specific steps for each of them. I've designed them in such a way that they don't all get very intense at the same time. So my first push is going to be this one. So I've designed this one up here. This is a writing goal, and my first task is to do a 8-week writing course where the daily effort required is only 10 minutes. It's a podcast-based course, and each daily exercise is designed to only take 10 minutes. So for 8 weeks, for this one, I'm only going to be doing 10 minutes of work a day, so I can focus a lot more on this one. And similarly, for this one, I've designed it so that by October, I should mostly be done with the bulk of the work, and I should be focusing on kind of refining what I have. So that will give me a chance to focus on the other 2. And then I've kind of forecasted on this page for each of these goals kind of what my monthly result should be, and these are what I'm going to kind of transfer into this journal onto a tracking page that will help me stay on track. I hope that made sense. Please let me know if you have any questions. Now, I do still have 3 things I'm trying to do. I might be back here again in a couple months, yelling at myself again about putting too much on my plate, but I really hope that this time I have figured out what it means to focus on something. By narrowing things down little by little, eventually I'll get to that sweet spot. So I am not going to fill these back in today. I want to plan out that app project in a little bit more detail before I decide what my goal is going to be for June. And realistically speaking, I shouldn't have put down specific project goals for the entire year in advance. I should have left it so that I was only defining a focus for the month and then decide what my goal should be later, but you live and you learn. Next year will be better. And while we're talking about things I could be doing better, let's have a look at May's happiness project page. I actually have, so just to recap, my goals for this month were no unnecessary spending, create plans for 3 profitable projects, review my budgets, and do daily art journaling to find joy in what I have. I did not do art journaling at all this month, and I have a plan to address that in my bullet journal that I'm going to talk about. My no unnecessary spending has been going fairly well. I did buy a new pair of pants because I was down to my last pair, and I also bought some skincare products, but I think I'm going to classify those as acceptable given the fact that they were things that I did need to replace that I had already owned, and it wasn't kind of a splurge the way that this is laid out. And for June, just looking ahead a little bit, my focus was around giving. I wanted to kind of get back into the mindset of giving back to other people. I want to donate to charity. So one goal is to create a charity goal and a plan to reach that goal. probably will be kind of just something I work out in my budget. I wanted to give 3 gifts to friends or family. So this one I already kind of have is an emergency fund goal. I want to have a plan to set aside enough money that I could survive on it for a couple months if I were to suddenly lose my job or if something else happened that cost a bunch of money all at once. And then lastly, I want to give a gift to myself, so kind of the opposite of May, in moderation. Now I'm going to flip through May before I come back to fill in that goal tracking spread. It looks like I have been filling in May pretty well, but just to give you some context, my last entry was on the 17th. Today is the 25th. I'm not recording this as early as it seems, and a lot of this I've filled in retroactively, so I've gotten through an entire week of sort of neglecting my bullet journal and then going back and filling it in from memory, which I do because I'm a little bit vain and I want this to have some stuff in it. I want it to look nice. I did not take the same care with the rest of my monthly pages. My stats page just completely fell out of favor. The habit tracker on here I have not filled in since the 19th. I did write in a little bit here. My goals page, I didn't actually fill this in until almost halfway through the month. I was just super busy, you guys, and I still need to find a place in my routine for journaling, like proper journaling time. I used to do it at work in the morning, and I don't really have the time for that at this new job, and so I need to find a new place to put my journaling time, and I have a solution for that already planned out for June. And now we get into the weeklies and dailies, and you can really see how it went. I don't think any week this month I logged a full week in my bullet journal. Like this one, I had planned to write out tasks for the weekend and just never did. I did get a couple of consecutive days here. You can see I didn't start journaling until the middle of the week, but I still had it in my head that it was the start of a new week, so I wrote Monday in here and then just didn't put, I realized it was actually Wednesday, so I just wrote Wednesday right under it. But next week, a little bit better. I still missed a couple days. I've been lumping weekends together a lot just because I feel like the weekends that I have now are just a big block of time rather than, 2 days out of my week. A lot of empty space that I had planned to fill with something else. Again, here I didn't write anything for Monday or Tuesday. I just wrote them in here. And then didn't get around to journaling until Wednesday. Again, here, Wednesday, the first day. I don't know what it is about Mondays and Tuesdays that is different than Wednesday. And one way to address this might be going back to pre-made weeklies instead of kind of as-you-go dailies. I don't know if I want to commit to that, because I do really like just writing in blocks of text whenever I have time. And then here we are, week 21, the end of May almost. I have a lot on my list for this weekend. I have already done some of this, but there you go. My May bullet journal was only a few pages. You can see it was just this tiny amount of journal. If things keep going like this will probably last me the rest of the year, but that's totally fine. I've said this before and I'll say it again. The really great thing about bullet journaling is that it can be whatever you need it to be, whenever you need it to be that. So right now, I don't need a lot of space. I don't have time to decorate things very well. I don't have time to really journal much, but it supports me, and it's a place where I can store my thoughts for later. So for that, it's doing its purpose perfectly. So I have some monthly pages that I'm going to put in here, but the first thing I'm going to do is actually go back to this little notebook and fill in that goal tracking page I was talking about. So pretty much what I'm going to do here is I've broken out my goals for June into 8 kind of actionable items that can be done or not done. So I'm going to write those in here, leave a space, and then down here at the end of the month I'm going to do a review and kind of tally up how much I got done. It's going to be a nice little scoreboard for me. And then over here, I've penciled in, it's pretty light, but I'm going to do 4 rows, one for each week of June. Here I'm going to put kind of the broken down daily and weekly tasks. I have 7 spaces here for days of the week where I can check off on a daily basis if I got that goal done for that day. Some of these won't require something to be filled in for every day, but I have the space here if I need it. A little section to put the percentage each goal was completed at the end of the week, and then another little space here to put kind of an overall progress. How much did I get done? So throughout the month I'm going to be filling in these weeks one at a time, transferring those back over here, and then I'm going to have kind of a dashboard for the entire month of how much progress I made, and it's going to be really satisfying to look at the end. I hope, anyway. And the other lesson I have learned is I am only doing 1 month at a time. I'm not doing a quarter, I'm not doing 8 weeks, I'm not doing 12 weeks. I'm just doing 1 month, and then the next month I'll do another one, assuming that it worked out for me. The point of that is, when I try to do multiple weeks at a time, inevitably my priorities shift, I don't fill it in, I don't get things done, and then it just ends up half finished, just like this. So, 1 month at a time, taking things slow, baby steps, breaking things down, I think it's gonna work a lot better. Now, in my daily, weekly bullet journal, let's see here, go to the end of May. I am going to leave a space for the last week of May there, and then this is going to be my goals over here, and then over here is going to be my answer to not having enough time for kind of a daily routine, which is just an organized habit tracker with a focus on supporting that routine. And over here is going to be kind of a list of reminders, and this is going to look a lot like a traditional monthly log where I have the dates, you know, from 1 to 30, and I just write what I'm going to do. But instead of a focus on like meetings or like going out to events, what I'm going to put in here is chores and like workouts and errands that need to be done on a certain day, and it's just going to act as a reminder to help me keep pace with what I need to do when I need to do it. You know, keep the kitchen clean, keep the groceries stocked, do my workouts, all of that kind of stuff is going to be going into this section. Just to talk a little bit more about what I'm going to put on this goals page. So I've outlined here at the top each of my 3 goals that are based on kind of productive time that I have, rather than like an overall goal that I can meet or not meet, like the finance and the health goal. So down here, the 1, 2, 3, 4 is for each week of June. I'm essentially going to write down whether or not I made progress towards the goal that it is. So I've color coded these here. And then at the end of the month, I'm going to first write in here, like essentially what I have as a finished product, what percentage of goal did I complete. Ideally, about 80% or better is a pass, like that's what I want to achieve. And then up here, I'm going to put down a big percentage of how close I got to meeting all these goals. So it's very kind of metric based. I'm focusing on numbers, things that I can either do or not do. No kind of in-between wishy-washy goals here. Just kind of, did I do it? Did I not do it? And numbers for how close I got to meeting each of these goals. And then down here I have my same task list for things that aren't tied to a specific goal that I like to do during the month of June, and a little space for notes. Now, I mentioned for my habit tracker, I structured it around a routine that I would like to keep. So what I did was brainstorm what I would like to do each day. I made a big long list of things that I would like to fit into one day. Some of them were things that I don't really need to write down, like feeding my pets, but other things are tasks that I would like to write down, such as performing my skincare routine, meditating, and journal time, like I said. So I wrote all these things down and then I structured them into a list that is somewhat in chronological order. And that's the order I'm going to put these into this habit list. So throughout the day, I'll be able to check them off one by one in order, and this will also give me a clue as to what part of my day I'm having trouble maintaining a routine in, whether it's the morning or the night, or both. So what I have for my habits are skincare morning routine, journal planning, eating 3 servings of vegetables, drinking 80 ounces of water, stretching, meditating, evening skincare routine, and the more reflective journaling where I'm kind of writing about my day and checking whether I met my goals or not. On this page, I'm going to have gratitude on the left. It's just going to be my normal monthly log gratitude, 1 line for each day. Nothing crazy there. And then on this side, I'm going to do a note about what I accomplished that day. I've done this before and I kind of fell out of practice with it. We'll see how this month goes. I'm not sure if I'm going to have the time for it, but I'm hoping that I will because I really like looking back at what I did, what I got done. It makes me feel really good. I can get into kind of a funk sometimes where I feel like I'm not doing anything even though I am. Having an actual list of what I'm doing that doesn't involve like reading through several pages of journal entries, it helps me keep that in perspective. And it seems it's very simple. It is a very simple thing, but the act of looking back on what I did and kind of celebrating those accomplishments, I think is really important. It can feel sometimes when you're working, that you're not actually accomplishing anything. So this is going to be a page where I actually write out what I accomplished on that day every day. So there we have it. I'm all set up for the month of June. Once June is over, we're officially going to be at the halfway point of 2019. And that's another reason why I took the time to revisit my goals this month, is because I'm almost halfway there and I have kind of gotten a little bit off course with things. So this is me figuring out what is the most important and making a plan to focus on that. I have pretty high hopes for next month. So check in again at the end of June. I'll put up another plan with me video and I'll talk about how this little experiment went for me. Thanks again. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. I would love to hear what your goals are for kind of the second half of the year. I'll be back again next month with another Plan With Me video, and I hope to see you there. Bye.